Stop doing this if you want to truly understand women's hints. That's right, minus 99% of men are completely in the dark when it comes to decoding female indirectas, and it's leading to missed connections, frustration, and endless confusion. But today, we're lifting the veil on these mysterious cues. Trust me, once you get this, your relationships will never be the same. Ready to unlock the secrets? Let's jump right in. Segment 1, the subtle art of the indirecta mortamese meets the eye. Let's start by getting something straight. Indirectas are not just random words thrown around. They're an intricate dance of language, body language, and emotion. Think of them as the unspoken rules of a secret game where the prize is deeper connection and understanding. But here's the catch, if you're not aware of the game, you're already losing. So what exactly is an indirecta? Picture this, you're talking with someone, and she says, "This place is interesting." Now you could take that at face value, thinking she's just being neutral about the location. But here's where things get tricky. That one word "interesting" could actually be a doorway to a deeper conversation. Maybe she's hinting that this place isn't really her vibe and she's waiting to see if you pick up on it. Or perhaps she's inviting you to explore her taste more, to dive deeper into a conversation about what she likes or dislikes. You see, indirectas are like a map of hidden messages. Each word, each pause, each shift in tone could mean something more. And if you're not tuned in, you'll miss it entirely. They're a way of expressing emotions, desires, and even concerns without having to be direct. It's subtle, it's nuanced, and yes, it can be incredibly confusing if you're not paying attention. But why are these hints so common? Well, sometimes it's about avoiding conflict. Other times, it's about testing the waters to see how you'll react. And in many cases, it's simply how someone's been taught to communicate indirectly. It's a way of protecting themselves, of not putting all their cards on the table until they know it's safe. Understanding this is the first step toward mastering the art of the indirecta. Segment 2, decoding the most common indirectas, what she's really saying. Alright, now that we've set the stage, let's break down some of the most common indirectas you'll encounter. These are the phrases you've heard a million times, but today you're going to learn what they really mean. Example 1, "I'm fine." We've all heard this one before, right? And I'm betting most of you know that "I'm fine" rarely means she's actually fine. But let's go deeper. When a woman says she's fine, it's often a defense mechanism. Maybe she's upset, maybe she's disappointed, or maybe she's just not ready to talk about what's really bothering her. The key here is to recognize that "I'm fine" is usually an invitation to probe a little deeper. But here's the tricky part, how you approach it matters. Instead of pushing aggressively, try something gentle, like, "I can tell something's on your mind. I want to talk about it." This shows you care without making her feel pressured. Example 2, "What do you think about this?" This one's a bit of a double-edged sword. On the surface, it sounds like a straightforward question. But in reality, she's not just asking for your opinion, she's often seeking validation or reassurance. It's not just about the topic at hand, it's about how your response will make her feel. So, when she asks what you think, consider the emotional subtext. Is she looking for support? Is she hoping you'll agree with her? Your response can either build her up or tear her down, so choose your words wisely. Example 3, "I'd love to try that new restaurant." This is a classic indirecta that flies under the radar for so many guys. She's not just mentioning a restaurant, she's suggesting a date. But instead of saying, "Hey, let's go out," she's testing the waters to see if you'll take the hint. If you're interested, this is your cue to make a plan. "That sounds great. How about we check it out this weekend?" Boom, you're in. But if you missed a subtle hint, she might think you're not that interested, which could lead to a missed opportunity. Example 4, "Nothing, forget it." This one can feel like a brick wall, right? She says nothing, forget it, but you know something's up. Here's the deal, this phrase usually means she's feeling frustrated, unheard, or maybe even a little vulnerable. It's not that she doesn't want to talk about it, it's that she doesn't want to have to force the conversation. So when you hear this, don't actually forget it. Instead, gently encourage her to open up. "I don't want to forget it. I really care about what's on your mind." Show her that you're there for her and that you're willing to listen. Segment 3, mastering the indirecta, turning confusion into connection. Alright, now that we've decoded some of the most common indirectas, let's talk about how you can become a master at understanding these cues. The goal here is to turn what used to be confusing into an opportunity for deeper connection. Tip 1, active listening, hear beyond the words. Active listening isn't just about hearing what someone says, it's about truly understanding what they mean. When a woman drops an indirecta, she's not just communicating with her words, she's using her tone, her body language, and sometimes even silence. To master indirectas, you need to tune in to all of these elements. Notice if her tone shifts, if she pauses before speaking, or if she avoids eye contact. These are all clues that there's more beneath the surface. Don't just listen to respond, listen to understand. Tip 2, pay attention to body language. It's not just about what she says. Body language can be a game changer when it comes to decoding indirectas. Sometimes, what's not said is just as important as what is. For instance, if she's saying she's fine but her arms are crossed and she's avoiding eye contact, that's a red flag. Or if she mentions something in a casual tone but is nervously fidgeting, it might mean she's testing your reaction. Learn to read these nonverbal cues, and you'll start picking up on the messages she's not saying out loud. Tip 3. Empathy is key. Put yourself in her shoes. Empathy is your superpower in these situations. It's not just about understanding what she's saying, it's about understanding why she's saying it. Why might she be dropping hints instead of being direct? Maybe she's worried about how you'll react, or maybe she's not sure how she feels yet. When you approach these situations with empathy, you're more likely to respond in a way that makes her feel understood and valued. And when a woman feels understood, that's when true connection happens. Tip 4. Don't be afraid to ask clarify when you're unsure. Look, even with all the tips and tricks in the world, there will still be times when you're just not sure what she's getting at, and that's okay. The worst thing you can do is assume and get it wrong. If you're unsure, just ask. But here's the key: ask in a way that shows you care. Instead of saying, "What do you mean?" try, "I want to make sure I understand. Can you tell me more about what you're thinking?" This shows that you're invested in the conversation and in her feelings. Segment 4. Why understanding indirectas is crucial. The benefits of getting it right. So why should you care about all of this? Why is it so important to understand these indirectas? The answer is simple: because it can transform your relationships. When you start to pick up on these subtle cues, you're not just communicating, you're connecting on a deeper level. Benefit 1. Strengthening your connection. When you get better at understanding indirectas, you build trust. She feels like you're truly listening, like you really get her. And that's huge. Women want to feel understood, valued, and connected. When you can read between the lines, you're showing her that you're attuned to her needs and emotions. This builds a stronger bond and leads to a more fulfilling relationship. Benefit 2. Reducing misunderstandings. Miscommunication is the root of so many relationship problems. By learning to decode indirectas, you're cutting down on misunderstandings before they happen. You're no longer left wondering, what does she mean by that? Instead, you're in tune with her thoughts and feelings, which means fewer arguments, less frustration, and more harmony in your relationship. Benefit 3. Boosting your confidence. Let's be real, understanding indirectas can make you feel like a relationship wizard. Suddenly, you're not just guessing what she means, you know what she's trying to say. This boosts your confidence, making you more comfortable in conversations and interactions. And that confidence, it's attractive. It shows that you're someone who's in tune with the subtleties of communication, someone who knows how to navigate the complexities of relationships. Benefit 4. Encouraging more open communication. When you consistently show that you understand and appreciate the nuances of what she's saying, she'll feel more comfortable opening up to you directly. Over time, this can lead to a relationship where indirectas become less necessary because there's a foundation of trust and understanding. You create a space where she feels safe to share her thoughts and feelings openly, knowing that you'll listen and respond with empathy. Alright, we've covered a lot of ground today, from understanding what indirectas are and why they're used, to decoding common examples and learning how to master this subtle form of communication. It's been quite the journey. But here's the bottom line: if you want to deepen your connections and improve your relationships, mastering the art of the indirecta is essential. Remember, it's not just about hearing the words, it's about understanding the message behind them. It's about listening with empathy, paying attention to body language, and being willing to ask when you're unsure. When you approach conversations with this mindset, you're not just communicating, you're connecting. So, the next time you hear an indirecta, don't let it fly over your head. Instead, see it for what it is: a golden opportunity to connect on a deeper level. And who knows, maybe you'll find that the more you understand, the fewer indirectas you encounter, as trust and openness begin to take center stage in your relationship. Now, before we wrap up, I want to hear from you. Have you ever misread an indirect from it? Or maybe you've started to pick up on them more after watching this video? Drop your stories in the comments below. Let's get the conversation going. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with a friend, and subscribe for more content like this.